Hey, here are 5 stupid things I've noticed since last time. Republicans throw epic post-election tantrum. One of the true pleasures of election night and the days that followed was getting to see the American right lose its shit utterly and publicly. There was Fox News, where Karl Rove refused to accept Romney's campaign sinking loss in the state of Ohio. There was Twitter, Jesus Christ, where Donald Trump and Victoria Jackson had splendidly bitter meltdowns, and where some disappointed teenage rednecks took the re-election of the USA's first black president as an opportunity to start throwing nigger around. There was the titans of talk radio who took to the airwaves the next day and reacted to the election result with a combination of disbelief and dismay, but mostly by blaming the American people, who were suddenly idiots and lazy welfare bums who had been bribed to vote for Obama by the promise of government handouts. But you know, my very favorite right-wing reaction to the election was probably that of Bill O'Reilly, who said during Fox News Channel's election night coverage that the Obama re-election meant that this was no longer the traditional America, by which he meant the white establishment was now the minority. Never mind for the moment how hilariously incorrect O'Reilly is to describe white people as a minority class. What I find most interesting about what he said was how he unwittingly tipped his hand and let us know what he's really meant all these years when he's described himself not as a conservative or a moderate or any other normal political label, but as a traditionalist. Woman runs non-voting husband over with SUV. Conservatives in the media may have rent their garments over Obama's re-election, but at least they didn't try to kill anybody. So far as I know. I can't watch Mark Levin every second. The same can't be said, however, for Holly Solomon of Mesa, Arizona, who was so distraught over Romney's loss that she chased her husband Daniel through a parking lot in an SUV and eventually ran him the fuck over. It seems that Holly blamed Daniel, who didn't vote on election day, for Romney's loss. I don't suppose it would have helped Daniel any to remind his wife that Romney actually won their state of Arizona, and therefore his voting or not voting would have had no impact whatsoever on the outcome of the general election. I don't know, probably not. See, after the attack, Daniel told police that Holly was 6 months pregnant, and you know how crazy they get when they're pregnant. Am I right, fellas? I mean, you just can't talk to them when they're like that. Petulant conservative employers threaten layoffs, blame Obama. Just one more about conservatives throwing titty baby tantrums in the aftermath of the election. And this one actually has serious real-life consequences, okay? All right, the one about the guy getting run over by his wife had real-life consequences too, but only for him. And besides, that guy got her crazy-ass pregnant, so fuck him anyway. Some conservative employers, the vaunted job creators, have announced that they will be cutting hours or laying off employees. Some, like Papa John's CEO John Schnatter, have claimed that they're doing so because they can't afford to pay for the Affordable Care Act. So, charging slightly more per shitty pizza so that you can provide health care for your thousands of employees, I guess that apparently is not an option that John Schnatter, who has a personal worth of $240 million and could afford to honor the provisions of Obamacare for his present employees for the next 34 years out of his pocket, is willing to explore. Catholic hospital allows woman to die rather than terminate her pregnancy. Jesus loves me, this I know, not the Catholic doctors though. Last month, 31-year-old dentist Savita Halapanavar, who was 17 weeks pregnant, checked into University Hospital Galway in Ireland in the midst of a severe miscarriage. Despite asking her doctors repeatedly to terminate her pregnancy, which was doomed, they refused, claiming that they could not abort the fetus as long as it had a heartbeat because it was a Catholic hospital and Ireland is a Catholic country. Halappanavar suffered for 2 days until the fetus died and was finally removed. 5 days later, Savita Halappanavar died of sepsis. Her fetus would have died in any event, but terminating the pregnancy earlier quite probably would have saved Savita Halappanavar's life. Now, I don't know what Jesus would have done in that situation, and I don't give a fuck, and neither should the doctors at that hospital. Aborting the pregnancy and saving the life of their patient, that's what they should have done. The Petraeus love quadrangle. Even as I shake my head at this mess, at the revelations of extramarital affairs, at the mind-boggling amount of emails exchanged between the principals in this scandal, I have to say I kind of get it. I don't excuse anyone's dishonest, self-destructive, juvenile behavior, but neither is it for me to pass judgment upon them. And I understand Generals Petraeus and Allen are good-looking dudes for their age, and men of power to boot, and they could do a lot worse than Paula Broadwell and Jill Kelly in the looks department. Come on. But since Jill Kelly does seem to be the nexus of this whole sordid affair, I will say this. From now on, let this be a lesson to everyone. If you ever meet someone, no matter how attractive or influential they may be, whose Wikipedia entry lists their occupation as socialite, run the other way. The hardest part is only picking 5. Catch you next time.